All right, this is going to be the Kimberly and Goguen UNN update for January 16th through the 20th, 2023. I'm a little bit behind, about a month and a half, but I'm going to catch up eventually. So keep in mind when you're watching these updates, I always have the date on them. So if you've already seen this, or if you're wondering why I'm not giving you the latest, that's because I'm still watching these. And as I watch them, I'm going to be making videos summarizing the things that I found important, as she said. And I'll be honest, not everything she says do I find important. Some things I don't even know what she's talking about. But for the most part, there are some things that I do find important, and those are the things I'm going to discuss. So, without further ado, I'm going to get started. Starting from January 16th. She mentioned this before, and she mentioned it again, but I'll just say it in case you guys missed it. But apparently Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum is not alive anymore. He's apparently being played by somebody else, so it is what it is. She mentioned that because apparently they had a meeting or something, and he went to the meeting or whatever. But if you care about that, then there's that, right? And then she also said the same thing about Bill Gates, that he's no longer alive and he's being played by somebody else. And I believe it for the most part. A lot of these people that I see out in the media, or celebrities and people like that, they just don't seem like real people to me. They seem like something is wrong with them. And it is what it is. So if that's what she's saying, then it just makes sense with what I'm seeing with my eyes, right? She also said that they're trying to push McCarthy, the deep state, I guess, or the Black Sun, as the new savior. And they're trying to kind of get rid of Biden and Trump because they don't want those two anymore. They don't find any use for them. They don't want to work with them. They want to have somebody else take over as the supposed savior. You know how everybody's always looking for that savior, right? So that's what they want to do with McCarthy. They're trying to make him seem like he's such a good guy. He's doing all these great things for the country and yada, yada, yada. You know, the bullshit they feed you in the media and the government and all that. She also said something that I found to be pretty interesting, which I've said myself. And it's kind of common sense if you pay attention and just look at the world for what it is. But to be honest, a lot of people don't have the mind or the IQ to see this, but whatever. I'll just say what she said. She said that the whole world has been MK Ultra'd, meaning everybody's been lied to, everybody's been deceived, everybody's been brainwashed, and everybody's been told what the truth is and what the lies are. So everybody, and that's why I always tell people, there really is no real truth. The real truth is believe who you want to believe and who you find to be credible. So you may believe this person, but somebody else may not believe that person, and so on and so forth, right? I tell you guys what I believe and what I think is true. Now it's up to you whether you want to believe me or not, or whether you think somebody else is telling you the real truth. It's up to you. You're the person that has to decide what the truth is. I truly believe that, and the way she was saying this, it just makes sense that, you know, everybody's been programmed to believe what they think the truth is. But to be quite honest, not too many people know what the truth is about anything. It's just what somebody else told you, right? That's how everybody has been conditioned and trained on this planet. It's just a sad reality. So it is what it is, right? Believe what you want to believe. But anyways, Kim also said that people with higher IQs were less susceptible to falling for the Omega Project's influence, which is what was controlling the narrative in terms of what the truth is and what it isn't. So, you know, it's funny because I just mentioned the IQ, but that's just what it is. It's unfortunate, but if you don't have the intellect to see through the BS, you're going to most likely fall for it. And that's what I see with most of the world's population, and it's sad. But you know, part of me talking and doing the things I do is similar to what Kim is trying to do, which is wake people up and show you what the real truth is, right? Of what's going on in your world. And it's sad. It's really sad. Like the more I think about it, the worse it is, right? Because there comes a point where I'm like, what will it take to wake people up, right? Because if people are not seeing obvious things that I see all the time, then when it gets deeper and down to like what Kim is doing, right? Then how are people going to understand that if you can't even see the simple stuff, right? And I talk about that stuff all the time on my channel, but nobody wants to watch that. They only want to watch Kim. And why do they want to watch Kim? Because she gives you hope, right? You're looking for a savior. But watch all the other stuff that I talk about and pay attention to that stuff too, because it matters, right? It's not just what Kim is saying. It's everything that's happening in your world. You need to pay attention. Like I had somebody tell me they don't want me to talk about certain people and they got upset with me. But I talk about what I think is important and what you need to pay attention to. And it's not just what Kim says. There are other things that matter. But whatever. This is not about that right now. I'm just going to keep going with the report. So she also said that they were trying to turn people into bots, walking bots, by cutting them off from light or source, whatever you want to, however you want to look at that. You know, cutting you off from God, source, or light, whatever. And the way they were doing that is through, you know, the shot. So a lot of people were reporting, I believe she said to her that they were being cut off from God or light or source or whatever. And they didn't understand what was going on. And she said it was because of that. She said she got rid of the Antichrist and Omega programs and replaced it with her own Alpha project. Whatever that means. I'm assuming that's the Kim's that she always talks about. Key integrated monetary system or whatever she calls it. So she, you know, she's running her own quantum system. And I believe that's what she's using to replace all these other programs that are out there and harmful to humanity. That's just my assumption. I don't fully understand that, and I'm not going to pretend that I do, right? But anyways, she also said that it's a lot harder to free humanity than she realized when she took on the role or the job of guardian. And Source did not inform her or tell her that it was going to be this difficult. And she said, had she known, she probably would have backed away from it or been like, what the F? Like, basically, she's just saying that she wasn't expecting it to be as difficult as it is. And she ain't lying. Let's just say that. She also said that a lot of people, the reason why they don't want to accept the truth is because it hurts their ego, which is the biggest thing that I see happening. It's like these people, most humans are programmed to believe something. And when somebody comes and tells them the truth, it doesn't go along with their programmed narrative. So they dismiss that person because it hurts their ego to think, oh, how can this person come and tell me something that I knew this whole time was right, and now they're telling me something different, which is different than what I've always known, and it's going to prove what I know to be right, wrong, and I don't want that. So that's all ego, right? It's somebody sitting there, well, I can't accept the truth because it's going to make what I think is the truth wrong. And that's the biggest problem I see with humanity, is there's so many egos flying around with people that don't know shit. And then they wonder why shit is fucked up because they don't want to listen to the truth. It is what it is. So until people start to drop their egos and learn what is really going on, we're not going to get anywhere. She also said that these people that work for the deep state and all these generals and all these other people, they have little demons flying around them, telling them that they're the good guys and what they're doing is right and stuff like that. And I know somebody personally that is dealing with that, and I've talked about it on this channel. So Kim is basically telling you guys same thing that I said, right? And you know, it is what it is. Most people that watch me know that this is a thing that can happen. But if you didn't listen to me, listen to Kim. If you didn't listen to Kim, listen to me. there are demons that control people and influence people and tell people what to do. And she said what's going to happen when they're all gone. So apparently she's going to get rid of all of them. At least that's what she says she's doing, right? She also said that this was a little strange, and I'm going to have to kind of watch what I say here. But she said that the alpha system that she controls can reverse the damage of the shot. So if you've had these treatments and they're inside you and they're hurting you, there's a way to reverse it, which I found to be interesting. And I can only say only time will tell, because I've had people come to me and tell me that their family members are suffering from the shot. And you guys know what shot I'm talking about. So she said there's a way to fix that with her system. So I don't know. We'll see. And then, all right, so that's all for January 16th. So now we're going to January 18th. This particular UNN report I didn't find too interesting, to be honest. There were only a couple of things that I took away from it. She said that the Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 systems are connected. If you guys don't know, she said that the Alpha 2 took over what used to be the Omega system. So this is what I told people before, is that she's claiming to have control over both sides now, the back system and the front system. That's how I'm interpreting it. If I'm misunderstanding something, correct me. But that's how I'm understanding this. And if that's the case, then that means she has full control over all the money or something like that. I don't know. It is what it is. She said the World Economic Forums are just there to drive governments off the cliff and make false promises and not pay these governments and yada, yada, yada. Stuff that's, I'm like, I don't even care about this stuff, to be honest. I mean, it's important, I guess, but I don't even take the World Economic Forum serious, or the governments, or any of these politicians or people, and neither should anybody else. But, you know, a lot of people do, because low IQ. It is what it is. She said she's not making any promises. This was kind of interesting. She said she's not making any promises about what she's doing, because there are too many layers of control in the world. And she was unaware that things, kind of like what she said before, that she was unaware how difficult it was going to be to fix all the issues that the world has and free humanity and go through all these layers of control and stuff like that. And it's a lot harder than she thought. So it's very difficult for her to set dates and make promises about what she's doing, right? Like, oh, by this date, this will be done. By that date, that'll be done. It's hard for her to do that, because it's a lot of work for her, and a lot of things that she has to work through that she wasn't aware she would have to do. So that's that for January 18th. So now go to January 20th. She said there was a dark hall of records which no longer exists. So that's interesting, because apparently if you would register something in the hall of records, it would go to the dark hall of records. That's the opposite and completely negative. So it was like an inversion of the hall of records. That's what the dark hall of records was. She said BlackRock is going bankrupt, which, okay. She also said they're trying to send McCarthy's aides and other people to ask her for money, but she told them she has no contract with them, so she has no obligation to give them any money, and they're getting desperate because they're running out of money. She said they're inches away from collapsing, so I'm assuming she's talking about the deep state. Yeah, it is what it is. So they're running out of money. They don't have any funds, and they don't have any way to pay their operatives, right? So they're very close to not existing, according to her. She also said that they're still trying to kill humans and do all these evil things. So she's done negotiating with them, and she said that her forces were going to deal with them and pay them a visit, whatever that means. I mean, I'm assuming that's a threat, and she's saying they're going to get deleted, right? I mean, I don't know how else to interpret that. And who she's talking about, I don't know, because she wasn't specific. Kim, how do I explain this? She'll name certain people, but certain other people she won't. So that's a little bit weird for me, because I don't know who she's talking about, but she also always usually says that even if she said who they were, we wouldn't know who they are. So whatever. I mean, if that's what she says is going on, that's what she says, right? She said people need to think about what would happen if the governments and schools shut down and how society would change and all this other stuff. What would you do in your community? What could you contribute and stuff like that? And realistically, if something like that would happen, it would be chaos because humans are very chaotic. And how do I explain this? Humans are so conditioned to take orders. They're like animals, right? They're like a lost dog or a lost puppy or a lost whatever. They're so conditioned to take orders from someone that if the government collapsed and there were no more schools, you just see chaos everywhere. That's what I think would happen. I don't think it's going to be this communities coming together and people working together, seeing what they can do to help each other. I think people are just going to do a bunch of evil stuff, kill each other, hurt each other. And the very few people that would want to do good things are going to get taken advantage of by the evil ones or the evil people that just want anarchy and chaos and destruction, right? So I just don't see anything good coming out of this unless there was some benevolent force like, I don't know, Kim Goguen or somebody that she works with, some of the others she works with that would try to how do I say, guide humanity in a better direction. And that's just me being realistic, right? I'm being honest with you guys. Humans are dumb animals. Like, the more I deal with humans, the dumber they seem to me. I'm not seeing too much hope for humans. I want to have hope. I want people to do right and do good things, but it is what it is. All right, so the next thing she said is, actually, this is something that I said, or a thought that I had, is that I don't really see how things are going to work out without the structures that we have in place, right? Meaning, because she did mention that she's ready to take over, or people, she says she's ready to step in, whatever that means. So I'm assuming she's saying that she's going to present solutions for society going forward. But for me personally, just because I see the people around me and the way people are generally anywhere you go, I don't see things just working out. It's just hard for me to imagine humans figuring things out. Humans, you guys have to understand, humans have been trained and conditioned to be in this kind of society forever. Forever. Humans have always done these things because they've always been controlled. This isn't like something that started yesterday or 100 years or whenever you think society started. This has always been happening. Ever since humans were on this planet, there were always societies that were controlled by higher entities, ETs, others, whatever. So now if you just take all those systems away, you're just going to expect these primitive humans that can't get along for shit to just work shit out. That's just not going to happen. I'm being realistic. But anyways, she also said something about nobody's going to the White House. The White House laws are empty, whatever that means. You guys make of that what you will. She said things are falling apart for the deep state and everyone is seeing it. I'm not, to be honest with you guys, but apparently people are seeing the deep state crumble, and I'm still seeing the deep state doing what they've been doing. That's just me being real. And mind you, this was a month and a half ago, so if there's a new update and things have changed, I haven't gotten to it yet, so be patient. She also said there's fake shortages and there's enough supplies for everybody, but they're causing these fake shortages. So again, she mentioned the whole thing about when the time comes, she'll step in and things will work out somehow, magically. She said things are going to work out, things will be all right. There's going to be systems in place to help humans get through whatever happens. We'll see. That's a lot of hopium and faith and all of that. Just, I don't know. I don't have that kind of faith in humans. She does. I don't. That's where me and her are different. But it is what it is. I like to be real and see things for what they are. But hopefully humans can prove me wrong, right? We'll see. We'll see who's right. Anyways, I think I've said enough. I'll keep doing these updates, and hopefully you guys watch them, because I'm doing these specifically for people that watch me for Kim, or anybody else that, just randomly shows up. If you like, comment, subscribe, share where you can, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.